Barcelona steamroll Bayern Munich 4-1. The 9-year curse is over. Hansi Flick and his unstoppable monsters simply thrashed the German manager's former club at the Camp Nou. This was the first really serious test for Hansi Flick's Barca this season, and they coped with it almost without a hitch under Flick's guidance. The Blaugrana have truly become the machine that is rushing and taking out anyone who stands in their way. And this is no exaggeration. Against the mighty Bayern squad, the Spanish Titans came out in a 4-2-3-1 D formation and kicked the duel off with the usual starting 11, which had a little catch on the line. You see, since Gavi and Dani Olmo were not available as starters, it was Fermin Lopez who came on from the first minute instead. Already in the 53rd second of the game, Fermin led Rafinha to a one-on-one situation with a magnificent pass, and the Brazilian easily outplayed Manuel Neuer. In fact, Flick knew perfectly well it was worth betting on the unshakable 21-year-old Lopez against D. Rotten. After an early 1-0 lead, Barcelona's game plan seemed to follow a pretty bold idea. Hansi Flick surprised everyone by not dropping the highline play he has been using since taking charge of Barcelona. This hyper-bold tactic worked in La Liga, but no one would have dared to use it against the Bavarians, except Flick, who was confident of his charges being up to the challenge. To elaborate, they maintained a highly compact structure, with the defensive line rising nearly to the center of the pitch and operating in a fascinating symbiosis with the midfield. Pedri and Marc Casado did not move away from the defense even a single step and provided maximum backup, while giving the attacking quartet of Fermin Lopez, Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, and Robert Lewandowski plenty of freedom for pressing. The gap between the lines was minimal, and Bayern were unable to move the ball through the center. In their attempts to go through Barca's wings, the latter's fullbacks, Jules Kounde and Alejandro Balde, tried to operate with the utmost caution, accompanied by Yamal and Rafinha, who also dropped down from time to time. Sure, not all of the Catalans' ideas worked out perfectly, though Flick definitely used his main idea with a high line at best. Hans Dieter was aware that Bayern wouldn't have the opportunity to go for long passes behind defenders' backs, as Thomas Muller and Harry Kane lacked the speed necessary to perform effective run-ins. Subsequently, the Rekordmeister would often resort to diagonal passes to the wings, with receivers being either Michael Olici and Serge Gnabry or Alphonso Davies and Rafael Guerreiro. Despite that, Kounde and Balde were always on alert to thwart their plans. At some moments, the Bundesliga representatives succeeded, but for the most part, the La Liga outfit had everything under control. The same situation was seen when it came to breaking Munich's pressing. Bayern put pressure on the Barcelona defense in a 4-4-2 setup. Inigo Martinez and Pau Cubarsí were neutralized by Kane and Muller, so in the build-up, they had to deliver the ball to Kounde and Balde on the wings, where Olici and Gnabry put on intense pressing right away. That said, Vincent Kompany's intentions were quickly negated by Hansi Flick, and here's how. Once the ball was delivered to Balde on the left flank, Casado ran down the half-space between Fermin and Rafinha in order to stretch the Bavarian structure and move Palinha, the man-marker, away from the center. On the right wing, there was a slightly different strategy. Kounde received passes from Cubarsí, transported the ball forward to Yamal, and the youngster executed transitions to the other end of the attacking line, straight to the speedy Rafinha. As a result, it turned into one-on-one situations against Deo Upamecano or Guerreiro. Barcelona itself also displayed that aggressive pressing in Flick's best traditions. In the initial phases of Bayern's build-up, Lewandowski dropped lower and put Palinha in his pocket. Fermin cut off Kimmich. Meanwhile, Rafinha and Yamal shifted from the flanks closer to the center of the attacking line and kept the central defenders Upamecano and Kim Min-jae under press too. If the opponents managed to overcome the first phase of pressing, creating a numerical advantage on the flanks, Balde and Pedri would additionally join to the play and Casado would control the middle above the Kounde Cubarsí Martinez back three. Among other things, Flick and his staff skillfully took advantage of Bayern's reliance on a similarly towering defensive line. Munich were worried about the tightness in the center, yet the Barca boss saw it as a huge opportunity to take advantage. The Catalans began to carry out long diagonals to the flanks and then cross it to Fermin and Lewandowski. For instance, in the 36th minute, Yamal launched the ball behind the backs of Bayern defenders to Lopez, and then Fermin made his way past Kim and slotted it through Neuer to Lewandowski, who found the empty net, and that's exactly how the score was brought to 2-1 in Barcelona's favor. Later on, we saw the third goal coming from a transition to the wing. from Casado to Rafinha. Simply put, Mark made a long pass to the left wide area from the defensive midfield, and now the Barca captain is already capitalizing on free spaces and netting a brace. Fantastic efficiency of the Catalans' attacking potential. Oh well, the second half action brought no less entertainment. Bayern wanted to get back in the game so badly they threw all their strength up front, losing balance in midfield and defense, exactly what Flick was waiting for. In the 56th minute, Pedri launched a counter-attack, handled the pressing of multiple opponents, passed to the wing to Yamal, and then Lamine reached Rafinha for another one-on-one with Neuer with an incredible cross, allowing the Brazilian to complete his hat-trick. 4-1. An outstanding performance by Rafinha in his 100th appearance for the Spanish club, for which he received the Man of the Match award and was thrown up in the air by his happy teammates. Was this my best game at Barcelona? One of my best, the best is yet to come, Rafinha claimed in the post-match interview. I have never had a player like Rafinha in any of my teams. He gives his all, Flick added from his perspective. My God, the way this Barcelona team plays is unbelievable. They're just merciless. Flick's fast and devastating counterattacks left no chance for De Rotten, and most importantly, Hansi's tactics always maintained a balance, unlike the panic experienced by his opponent, Company, while facing his former side. Flick used all the weapons his current squad has at their disposal. One superb physique, thanks to which Barcelona performers tirelessly pressed Bayern for the full 90 minutes. 2 well-tuned vertical football, 3 the top attacking trio of Yamal, Rafinha, Lewandowski with Fermin Lopez underneath them. Interestingly enough, Barca finished the encounter with 39% of the ball possession and 1.5 in terms of XG, which is not much, but who cares if they easily and gracefully managed to put 4 goals against a powerhouse team like Bayern. Fans are already referring to it as Flicky Flaka instead of Tiki Taka. After the game, Manuel Neuer threw up his hands and admitted, "It must be said that Barca play with a higher intensity than any other team we have faced so far." Hansi Flick, however, is not one to be fooled by compliments, continuing to keep a poker face while asked about the possible revival of Barcelona. Is Barcelona back? No, it's still early. The season has just begun. Well, if this isn't the peak of this team's capabilities, what will they be when they reach it? Flick's men are already tearing apart all the opponents in La Liga, racking up 33 goals in 10 opening fixtures. Now they've killed Bayern Munich at home as if nothing happened, when in fact the Catalans have made a strong bid to claim the Champions League this season and all tournaments in general. And to top it all off, Barcelona finally have no more injured players. Gavi, Frankie de Jong and Dani Olmo are back on track, and now Flick seems to have a top-notch bench ahead of El Clasico with Real Madrid. By the way, the mentioned upcoming battle will be no less epic. Yamal Rafinha Lewandowski versus Mbappe Vinicius Rodrigo, Pedri versus Bellingham, Gavi versus Valverde, Flick versus Ancelotti. What could be more awesome? There are only a few days left to wait, but we already invite you to share your predictions for the event in the comments down below. Leave a like if you were also blown away by Hansi Flick's Barcelona's demolition of Bayern Munich, and stay ahead of the sports by subscribing to our channel. Have a great time, guys. Enjoy!